So tell me about when Kevin was born.
When Kevin was born, his father made me name him Jesus Christ.
Why is that?
Because he had had a vision. Jesus had appeared to him, and that should have been my second clue. I was over the years putting these clues in my bonnet and storing them up. I mean, I was not a stupid person. But when you are young and you've just had a baby and you're working hard, it seems like there's no way out. So I was sort of biding my time, I think you'd say. And I did name him that, but I had an awful lot of controversy when I was in the hospital. My mother wouldn't come to see me. My sister wouldn't come to see me. All of the nurses came in and scolded me. All of the doctors came in and scolded me. All of the priests came in. All of the ministers came in. You'd think that it was something I had done wrong, instead of scolding the person who was to blame, because they knew that I was the one in the family with the intelligence, not Merle, basically, is why they did it.
What was his reaction to all the scolding?
He was more or less oblivious to how that it was hurting me, of course, a lot with this new baby. I mean, when you have a baby, a beautiful baby like Kevin was, he was a peaches and cream, little dimply cheek, fat, little, cute, adorable baby. He was beautiful. Merle looked like a little monkey. I love you, Merle. No, I'm just kidding. Just a little levity here. Kevin was a beautiful baby, as was Merle, but it hurts when you have so many people that seem like they're against you, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And but I named him Jesus, but I have ways of getting around that.
Like
Merle,
what?
I told little Merle that he had a new brother, and his name was Jesus Christ. And he said, Gigi, that's Gigi, my brother Gigi, he said. So I said, oh yeah, wow, yes, Lord. You know, it is Gigi. So it was Gigi forever. He was always Gigi. Merle named him that.
Wow.
And we all started calling him that, you know. And then when Kevin was ready to go to school, Merle came home one day, and I was sitting in the kitchen, and I said, I'm going up to the town clerk's office and change Gigi's name. And he was really upset. He was really upset. But I had a plan all these years. I was never going to send my son to school with that name. I was never going to have him be humiliated, because kids are cruel. Little children don't mean to be, but they're mean. You know, and I wasn't going to let my son go through that. But I didn't want him to have to go through a life of misery with his father either, you know, which he would have if I had subjected him to that over the years. So and he said, well, I named him the first time, and if you name him this time, I'll never call him whatever it is you name him. So I just got in the car, went up and went to see Bunny Bell. She was the town clerk. And she said, well, I knew you'd be here sooner or later. She said, I never sent this into the state. I kept it right here in my file cabinet. Never sent that name into the state. So she said, what do you want to name your little boy? And I was like, I was totally unprepared. I didn't know what I wanted to name him. But I said, Kevin. Kevin sounds like a good name. And she said, what do you want? Do you want a middle name? And I said, Michael, after Father Michael DeMassey, our priest in Gilman, who was always a great guy. We kids liked him a lot. So it was Kevin Michael Allen. They started very, very young, being interested in music, very young.
Describe that.
Yeah, though they go in their rooms and play their music, you know. And they started very young. Merle with his guitar in his room, and Kevin with his drum pad. And, of course, then we rented instruments at school for them. But a typical evening, I think, was, especially as they got a 9-ish or so, was music. I more or less lost them to to their music. They were in their rooms and they were listening to their music. And,
Do you remember like what they listened to?
oh, sure. Things that drove me crazy, like ZZ Top, Alice Cooper, Creedence Clearwater, Revival, CCR. What else? The Beatles. Oh, my God. Hey, Jude. Now, there is a classic that I could really burn. I heard that one so much. Beatles, you know. Beatles, Alice Cooper.
Was Kevin a good student? Grade school that time period?
Kevin's mind wandered. He had they tested him for a learning disability at age 3. Not how would I say a learning disability? They had someone help him read. Kevin was very smart, but Kevin wanted to go to school to socialize and do whatever he wanted to do, and he didn't really give a diddly squat about if he passed or if he knew arithmetic. But when his teacher called me in one day and told me that she told him he couldn't go out and play baseball, which the boys were very into baseball, that he couldn't go out and play baseball, he could get an A on his paper just like that.
Mm-hmm. Was he held back in school?
Yes, I had him held back in 3rd grade, which I've been told by all of the teachers is one of the most difficult grades in school is 3rd grade. And I thought if we didn't hold him back, that the other kids would be so far above him and beyond him that he really would feel left behind, and I didn't want that. I wanted him to catch up.
Why was he so far behind?
Because his mind would wander in classroom. I don't think he had ADD like the kids they say now. I think he was just a gifted young man. I think he was, and many gifted people tend not to care about studies. They just want to socialize, and his mind would just wander. The teacher said he was the biggest daydreamer. He would sit and play drums all day. You know, he would just do the, you know, his feet would be going. We've seen him do that many times before, you know, and that type of thing.
Right. Do you think he was upset when he was held back? Did it bother him a lot?
He never said that he was upset to me. He may have to his brother, because of course brothers are much closer than a mother and a son. I don't know if he ever told that to Merle, but he never seemed upset to me. Kevin just seemed to be happy if he and his brother were doing things, and he had friends, and I don't think that was a big issue to him.
Did he have friends in school?
Oh, yeah, Kevin was a very sociable person, and so was Merle. I mean, they both were. They skipped school a lot.
They did?
A lot. Oh, I know they did. The superintendent would call me, and, you know, they they did a lot of naughty things. They'd skip school, steal records.
Really?
Yeah.
Did they get caught?
No.
What did you think of that?
They were good. Oh, I thought it was terrible. I turned them in once.
Describe that. What was that about?
I went upstairs in the attic and found some things that I thought were there, and apparently they were David Burt's, I guess, some of the things. And I went right over to the store next door, and the constable was over there, and I told him what they had done and for him to come over and get them.
So what happened?
And he came over, and it was sort of like a joke almost. I mean, I think he came over and took the stuff, and but it was like, you know, they were just kids, and he didn't do anything. It might have scared them a little, I'm not sure. Probably not, though, you know.
Were you concerned when they were skipping school so much?
Oh, yes, I was, definitely, yeah. One day I was at work, and the principal called and told me that they had been in school for 11 days or 17 or whatever. What difference is 6 days, you know. They hadn't been in school for a while. So I called my husband, and he came over and picked me up, and we went to Lunenburg, and Merle, he went in the house and Merle was laying there with the earphones and you could just hear that music all over and Merle just, so he picks Merle up and puts him up against the wall and he says, Merle, why are you home from school? Merle says, I've got an earache.
What about girlfriends?
No.
The boys with girls in school.
I don't know, Merle had a girlfriend, Joyce, he liked a lot, and Gilman, and her mother didn't think he was good enough for her. And Kevin had Sandy.
When did that start?
Pretty early. I think she was Kevin's first girlfriend.
What grade?
I'm not exactly sure. I'd say freshman, maybe? They went together, though, for a long time before. Sandy was like 13 years old when they started dating, or 11 or something. Or 12. She was 12 years old when they started dating.
How old was Kevin?
He was older than Sandy. He was probably 16 or 17.
Wow.
Around there.
And what was that? What was that like?
But she was a nice Sandy was a very, very nice girl. She used to come to the house a lot, and Kevin would go to her family's house a lot. He was still very normal.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it's normal. And Merle certainly was just as bad as Kevin was. If he did bad things, Merle certainly did them too.
Like what?
I mean, you know, when they'd skip school and steal records, and they were two characters. Those two boys were the two most unusual kids that ever came into Lunenburg. They had a long black coat, like a wool coat, you know, and they would go into the stores and put all the stuff inside their coats and things. Come home and they, how many records did you get today? Merle, oh, Wigger or whatever, and geez, Gigi, I got 16. Well, I got 17, you know. They all one had to do better than the other one, you know. They were really bad. And, you know, then I don't know, they had David Berth that was a friend of theirs. I think they corrupted half of the kids, and they wouldn't even let the paper boy come to my house anymore because the kids were rolling. I think they were rolling their own and giving them to the paper boy. I'm not sure. At least the paper boy's mother thought so. And she called me, my son can't deliver papers anymore to your house because your children are doing drugs. And I'm like, my children are doing drugs? It never occurred to me that...
What about the way he dressed?
Kevin?
Okay.
Oh my word, those purple polka dot pants or yellow or whatever, oh my gosh. But that was the trend, that was the hippie days, you know. And holes, and Merle left home once because I threw his jeans away because they had holes in the knees.
Did you think he got in trouble in school for dressing like that?
Yeah.
From other students, faculty?
Oh, I'm sure faculty, the kids probably thought he was cool. No? You don't think so?
Did he ever tell you that he was having trouble with the other kids at school, that he wasn't getting along, that kind of thing?
No. No, never.
Talk to me about what you would consider an early musical experience where he started to really, like an early band that he started to play out with.
Well, I remember they would play at the Gilman School, and those are my earliest recollections of playing at the school, the town hall and things like that. And of course, when they played, really a lot of people would congregate, even adults. I mean, and they played in Gilman. When the fire department would have their dance, they'd play down there, which I thought was a little unusual, you know, that they would even hire the boys to do something like that. But people would love to hear Kevin do Wipeout. I mean, they'd all just stand there and listen and watch him do that, you know. I think the boys dared to be different, and they really did blaze a trail in Lunenburg, which nobody else will ever blaze again. And when we lived there, it was I was probably the only woman in Lunenburg that worked at the time. So that was unusual. Lunenburg has changed. I mean, it has grown since then. But it will still always be that little Vermont town that A couple of boys like Merle and Kevin just, in their day they were strange, and even the way things are nowadays, people are all strange, it seems like now. Merle and Kevin would still be different.
Why do you think that is?
Because they dared to be different. They wanted to be different. They dared to be different. And I guess I let them be different.
Did they get in trouble for it, you think?
Well, you know, a few little. When I'd come home and the police would be sitting on my couch, you know, because the neighbors had complained. We were in court a few times. Had to pay a few fines for them playing, disturbing the peace or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But other than that, no. Actually, you know, they were good kids. They were good kids for everything that was. They were different, but they were not bad kids. A lot of the kids now do a lot worse things. I think they did things that were bad then, maybe, or risque, should we say.